the latest on Alberta's wildfire crisis. Fears of an increased fire risk from a heat dome that has settled over northern Alberta are now a stark reality. Officials issued more evacuation orders overnight as the number of wildfires raging across the region has seen an uptick. It now stands at 87, with more than a quarter deemed as out of control.
Wildfire danger is extreme in most of the province and will continue to increase in the coming days. We are seeing widespread crossover conditions, which means that the temperature is higher than the relative humidity. These conditions lead to extreme fire behavior and will challenge our firefighters on the ground.
With temperatures soaring above the 30-degree mark in some places, the firefighting effort is happening around the clock. There are some 300, or these are some of the 300 members of the Canadian Armed Forces helping out. Their deployment will run for at least another 10 days, with an option to extend for a further week. And we're getting our first look at one of the fire crew's new weapons against the wildfires. This is Poseidon, a water cannon on loan from CN Rail and deployed for the first time ever to help prevent sparks and flames from jumping rail tracks and spreading. The CBC's Katie Nicholson has the latest from on the ground in nearby High Level.
This smoke all moved in around 6 or 7 o'clock last night into High Level. It's coming west from those fires out by Rainbow Lake that really grew overnight. I just want to show you this. This whole town is basically shrouded in smoke, but if you can see the sun there, it appears red. That is a smoke effect. That's just because there's so much particulate matter in the air that it creates this effect where it looks like the sun is red. We saw a number of pictures last night further west, and we've seen this before in other fires in BC, where the sun effectively, or the sky appears to turn orange or bright red, and that's sort of what we've been seeing again here. There's just so much particulate matter in the air in High Level. We got up this morning, the car was just covered in ash. Even as I'm standing here talking to you, there've been little sort of bits and pieces of ash sort of falling on me here. Quite difficult to breathe for people who have pre-existing health conditions, and of course that's one of the reasons they've also been trying to get people out of some of the other communities that are having a lot of smoke effect right now. With that fire spreading to the west of us, it prompted the evacuation of a Denny community about an hour and a bit west. They all had to sort of very hastily pack everything up in the community and move in. So a number of them coming to the High Level area overnight. They had to register, even being told that they might have to bring camping gear because there just wasn't enough space right now at the registration center. And a flurry of messaging going out, people being advised if you have pets, make sure that they're untethered if you can't take them with you so that they're not chained on. I even saw somebody looking for someone to help take her hamster last night. So people just really without just being told to move as quickly as possible and get into the High Level area. This fire moved very quickly yesterday, we're told. It has grown quite a bit in size, and these conditions, this hot, dry weather and a bit of wind yesterday certainly helped feed that fire. We were actually out in John Dorr, so further east, about 2 hours east, and as we drove in, just a stunning amount of smoke moving towards us as we got to High Level. And again, that sun, that telltale sign of how much smoke and particulate matter in the air, just bright red last evening. Talking to people here, they said it was just like a fog rolling in, and it was very, very dense. And it still remains here this morning. It almost looks like fog. It's normally very bright here. We've been waking up in High Level the last couple of mornings, and this is just, it's deep overcast. The sun's not getting through, and it is quite dark and as I say, a little difficult to breathe.
That was Katie Nicholson for us in High Level, Alberta. For more, let's turn now to our Lindsay Duncombe. She's tracking developments from our newsroom in Edmonton. So Lindsay, thank you for joining us. Take us through what more we know about the current wildfire emergency today.
Well, the thing about this whole situation in Alberta, Hillary, is just how many communities are affected and the anxiety that that is creating for people who have been forced to leave their homes and for others who are looking at the sky, feeling the heat and worried about what this intense weather with no real rain in sight might bring. And that means that there are around 16,000 people who are spending this Mother's Day out of their homes. We saw High Level, where our Katie Nicholson is, certainly is seeing many of those evacuees, some coming from Garden River that for people who were forced to flee late yesterday, just as the impact of a full day of heat hit that community. And really the realization from a lot of those people that this is for the long haul is setting in Fox Creek. The message is people will be out of their homes for the foreseeable future. In the Drayton Valley, Brazeau County, there is the sense that this is going to be at least another week. So a lot of anxiety. We're seeing a lot of gratitude for the firefighters who are here putting out all of those hotspots. And this is a literal army of firefighters, including those members of the Canadian Forces. There are 1,500 people fighting the fire right now, according to the province. There are 200 more firefighters on the way from the United States. There are a lot of reciprocal agreements here, province to state, and the Premier is requesting additional help because of these conditions.
Lindsay, what's the mood like right now among some of these affected communities?
A lot of resilience, actually, and we're seeing a lot of people with that independent Albertan spirit really taking this firefight on their own. We spent a lot of time out in Wildwood for a piece we're putting together for the National with people who were frustrated by the fact that the wildfire services and municipal services couldn't get there, so they brought their own gear. They brought their own bulldozers, and they were out there putting out hotspots. And that's sort of a double-edged sword, because while it may prevent a fire from spreading, it's also dangerous. And in Grand Prairie, the fire chief there is saying, listen, do not do that, because of an incident where someone came dangerously close to firefighters while they were doing that work. Here's how he explained it.
A citizen in their own personal piece of equipment, a dozer, I believe, came through the tree line opposite where the firefighters were working, unbeknownst to the firefighters, and almost hit the firefighters with the piece of equipment, as well as the trees that were falling from the piece of equipment moving through the tree line. Our firefighters had to run to get out of the way, and it created quite a hazardous situation for the firefighters.
So saying, please don't go out on your own, but some people say they have no choice but to do that. So a lot of that tension and conflict adding to the anxiety, a lot of resilience, a lot of independence, and this kind of anxious situation, no end in sight.